Good afternoon. Welcome to another daily reading. This is Leviticus 6 and Acts 7. I read from the Institute for Scripture Research, the ISR, because it takes a direct translation from Hebrew to English, Greek to English, and Aramaic to English. Yah is the Elohim of the heavens and the earth, the first and the last and the only, and he's an extremely jealous El. He's so jealous he doesn't even want the names of idols or mighty ones to come to our lips. And Yah is short for Yahuwah, Yod-He-Vav-He. It's like saying Dan, Daniel, Daniel with an E. What is the difference and does matters when people say that Phil, Bob, Sam, and Aaron are the same name when no, they're not. And no one in their right mind would ever believe that, and only a fool would believe that a hammer could force its creator to do anything. And there was no letter J in the Hebrew, Greek, or Aramaic text, because the letter J is about 600 years old. While the son of Elohim, Yahshua Messiah, sweat blood, was brutally murdered on a stake, spent 3 days in Sha'ul in darkness and gnashing of teeth and fire, and was resurrected on the third day for the sins of all of humanity over 2,000 years ago. In a direct translation from Hebrew to English, Yeshua, which is short for Yahoshua, is Joshua, and the son of Elohim's name Yahshua means Yah is salvation. Yah will save his people from their sins. The name of the Father is in the name of the Son. HalleluYah. Leviticus 6. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, M-O-S-H-E-H, saying, When any being sins and committed a trespass against Yahuwah and has lied to his neighbor about a deposit or about a pledge or about a robbery, or shall extort from his neighbor, by the way, your neighbor is everyone around you, or has found what was lost and has lied concerning it, or did swear falsely, so that his sins in regard to any one of these, so that his sins in regard to any one of all these that a man does, then it shall be when he sins, he shall be guilty, and he shall return what he took by robbery, or what he has extorted, or the deposit which was deposited with him, or the lost item which he found, or all that about which he swore falsely. He shall repay its total value, add 1/5 more to it, and give it to whom it belongs on the day of his guilt offering. Then he brings his guilt offering to Yahuwah, a ram, a perfect one from the flock, with your valuation as a guilt offering to the priest, and the priest shall make atonement for him before Yahuwah, and he shall be forgiven for whatever he did that made him guilty. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, Command Aaron, Aaron, and his sons, saying, This is the Torah of the ascending offering. This is the ascending offering, because it is burned on the slaughter place all night until morning, and the fire of the slaughter place is kept burning on it. And the priest shall put on his linen garment, and put his linen trousers on his body, and shall take up the ashes of the ascending offering which the fire has consumed on the slaughter place, and shall put them beside the slaughter place. And he shall take off his garments and put on other garments, and shall bring the ashes outside the camp to a clean place. And the fire on the slaughter place is kept burning on it, it is not put out. And the priest shall burn wood on it every morning, and arrange the ascending offering on it, and shall burn on it the fat of the peace offerings. Fire is continually kept burning on the slaughter place, it is not put out. And this is the Torah of the grain offering. The sons of Aaron shall bring it near before Yahuwah in front of the slaughter place, and shall take from it with his hand from the fine flour of the grain offering, and from its oil, and all the frankincense which is on the grain offering, and shall burn it on the slaughter place for a sweet fragrance as its remembrance portion to Yahuwah. Then Aaron and his sons eat the rest of it. It is eaten with unleavened bread. In the set apart place they eat it in the courtyard of the tent of appointment. In the courtyard of the tent of appointment. It is not baked with leaven. I have given it to them as their portion of my offerings made by fire. It is most set apart. like the sin offering and the guilt offering. All the males among the children of Aaron eat it, a law forever in your generations concerning the offerings made by fire to Yahuwah. All that touches them is to be set apart. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, This is the offering of Aaron and his sons, which they bring near to Yahuwah, beginning on the day when he is anointed. 1/10 of an ephah, E with a half a check mark, PHAH, a fine flour, is a daily grain offering, half of it in the morning and half of it in the evening. It is made on a griddle with oil, bringing it in mixed. Bring it in mixed. Bring the baked portions of the grain offering near, a sweet fragrance to Yahuwah, and the anointed priest from among his sons, who is in his place, prepares it, a law forever to Yahuwah. All of it has to be burned, and every grain offering for the priest is completely burned. It is not eaten. And Yahuwah spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to Aaron and to his sons, saying, This is the Torah of the sin offering. In the place where the ascending offering is slain, the sin offering is slain before Yahuwah. It is most set apart. The priest who is making atonement eats it. In the set apart place it is eaten. In the courtyard of the tent of appointment, all that touches its flesh is to be set apart. And when its blood is sprinkled on any garment, you wash that on which it was sprinkled in a set apart place. But the earthen vessel in which it is cooked is to be broken, and if it is cooked in a bronze pot, then it is scored and rinsed in water. Every male among the priests eats it. It is most set apart, and no sin offering from which any of the blood is brought into the tent of appointment to make atonement in the set apart place is eaten. It is burned with fire. Acts 7. And the high priest said, Is this so? And he replied, Men, brothers, and fathers, listen. The Elohim of esteem appeared to our father Abraham, A-B with a line underneath of it, R-A-H-A-M, when he was in Aram, A-R-A-M, Naharaim, N-A-H-A-R-A-Y-I-M, before he dwelt in Haran, H with a dot, A-R-A-N, and he said to him, Come out of your land and from your relatives, and come here into a land that I shall show you. Then he came out of the land of the Kasdim, K-A-S-D-I-M, and dwelt in Haran. And from there, after the death of his father, he removed him to this land in which you now dwell, and he gave him no inheritance in it, not a foot of it, but he promised to give it to him for a possession and to his seed after him. When as yet he had no child, and Elohim spoke in this way, that his seed would be sojourning in a foreign land, and that they would be enslaved and mistreated 400 years, and the nation to whom they shall be enslaved I shall judge. And said Elohim, and after that they shall come out and serve me in this place. And he gave him the covenant of circumcision, and so he brought forth Yitzchak, Y-I-T-S-H with a dot, A-Q, and circumcised him on the 8th day, and Yitzchak brought forth Jacob, which is James, Y-A-apostrophe-A-Q-O-B with a line underneath of it, and Jacob brought forth the 12 ancestors. Jacob brought forth the 12 ancestors, so Jacob was no longer Jacob, but Yisrael, because he struggled with El. He fought with Yahshua. And the ancestors, becoming jealous, sold Yosef, Y-O-S-E with a half a check mark, P-H, which is Joseph, into Mitzrayim, Egypt, M-I-T-S-R-A-Y-I-M, but Elohim was with him and delivered him out of all his afflictions and gave him favor, and the wisdom before Pharaoh, sovereign of Mitzrayim, and he appointed him governor over Mitzrayim and all his house. Then a scarcity of food and great distress came over all the land of Mitzrayim and Canaan, Kena''. And our fathers found no food, but Jacob heard that there was grain in Mitzrayim, and he sent out our fathers the first time. And at the second time Joseph was made known to his brothers, and Joseph's ethnicity became known to the Pharaoh. And Joseph sent and called his father Jacob and all his relatives to him, 75 people. And Jacob went down to Mitzrayim and died, he and our fathers, and they were brought over to Shechem, S-H-E-K with a line underneath of it, E-M, and laid in the tomb that Abraham bought for a price of silver from the sons of Hamor, H with a dot, A-M-O-R, the father, fancy English, the father of Shechem. But as the time of the promise drew near which Elohim had sworn to Abraham, the people increased and multiplied in Mitzrayim, until another sovereign arose who did not know Joseph, having dealt treacherously with our ethnicity. This one mistreated our fathers, making them expose their babies so that they should not live. So abortion, or something similar. At that time Moshe was born, and he was well pleasing to Elohim, and he was reared 3 months in the house of the father. But when he was exposed, the daughter of Pharaoh took him up and reared him as her own son. And Moshe was instructed in all the wisdom of the Mitzrites, so the Egyptians, and was mighty in words and works. And when he was 40 years old, it came into his heart to visit his brothers, the children of Israel, Y-I-S-R-A''E with a hapa checkmark L, and seeing one of them being wronged, he defended and revenged him who was oppressed, smiting the Mitzrite, so killing him. And he thought that his brothers would have understood that Elohim would give deliverance to them by his hand, but they did not understand. And the next day he appeared to 2 of them as they were fighting, and urged them to peace, saying, Men, you are brothers, why do you wrong one another? But he who was wronging his neighbor pushed him away, saying, Who made you a ruler and a judge over us? Do you wish to kill me as you killed the Mitzrite yesterday? And at this saying, Moshe fled and became a sojourner in the land of Midian, M-I-D with a line underneath of it, Y-A-N, where he fathered 2 sons. And after 40 years were completed, a messenger, Yahushua, capital M, a messenger of Yahuwah, appeared to him in the flame of a fire in a bush in the wilderness of Mount Sinai, S-I-N-A-I. And Moshe, seeing it, marveled at the sight, and coming near to look, the voice of Yahuwah came to him, saying, I am the Elohim of your fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, and the Elohim of Yitzchak, and the Elohim of Jacob. And Joseph trembled and did not have the courage to look, but Yahuwah said to him, Take your sandals off your feet, for the place where you are standing is set apart ground. I have certainly seen the evil treatment of my people who are in Mitzrayim, and I have heard their groaning, and have come down to deliver them. And now come, let me send you to Mitzrayim. This Moshe whom they had refused, saying, Who made you a ruler and a judge? This one Elohim sent to be a ruler and a deliverer by the hand of the messenger, Yahushua, who appeared to him in the bush. This one led them out after he had done wonders and signs in the land of Mitzrayim, and in the Red Sea, and in the wilderness 40 years. This is the Moshe who said to the children of Israel, Yahuwah your Elohim shall raise up for you a prophet, talking about Yahushua, like me from your brothers. Him you shall hear. This is he who was in the assembly in the wilderness with the messenger who spoke to him on Mount Sinai, and with our fathers who received the living words of giving who received the living words to give to us, unto whom our fathers would not become obedient, but thrust away, and in their hearts they turned back to Mitzrayim. So the Pharisees turned back to Egypt and followed the ways of the heathens. Of course. Sounds very Pharisee-like. Saying to Aaron, make us mighty ones to go before us, for this Moshe who led us out of the land of Mitzrayim, we do not know what has become of him. And they made a calf in those days and brought an offering to the idol, and were rejoicing in the works of their own hands. So Elohim turned and gave them up to worship the host of the heaven, as it has been written in the book of the prophets, did you bring slaughtered beasts and offerings unto me during 40 years in the wilderness, O house of Israel? No, they didn't. And you took up the tent of Molech, M-O-L-E-K with a line underneath of it, and the star of your mighty one, Kian, which is the six-pointed star, the star that's on Israel's flag. And the star of your mighty one, Kian, K-I-Y-Y-U-N, images which you made to bow before them. Therefore I shall remove you beyond Babel, B-A-B with a line underneath of it, E-L. The tent of witness was with our fathers in the wilderness, as he appointed, instructing Moshe to make it according to the pattern that he had seen, which our fathers, having received it in turn, also brought with Yahoshua, Y-E-H-O-S-H-U-A, which is Joshua, into the land possessed by the nations, whom Elohim drove out before the face of our fathers until the days of David, D-A-W-I-D with a line underneath of it, which is David, who found favor before Elohim and asked to find a dwelling for the Elohim of Jacob, but Sholomo, S-H-E-L-O-M-O-H, built him a house. However, the Most High does not dwell in dwellings made with hands, as the prophet says, the heaven of my throne and the earth is, the heaven is my throne and the earth is my footstool. What house shall you build for me, says Yahuwah, or what is the place of my rest? Has my hand not made all these? You stiff-necked and uncircumcised in heart and ears, you always resist the set-apart spirit, as your fathers did, you also do. Which of the prophets did your fathers not persecute? I'll give you a hint. You can count it on your hand if you just don't put up a finger. And they killed those who before announced the coming of the righteous one, of whom you now have become the betrayers and murderers, who received the Torah as it was ordained by messengers, but did not watch over it. You received it, but you didn't follow it. And hearing this, they were cut to the hearts and gnashed the teeth at him. But he, being filled with the set-apart spirit, looked steadily into the heaven and saw the esteem of Elohim, and Yahshua standing at the right hand of Elohim, and he said, look, I see the heavens opened, and the son of Adam, A-D with the line underneath of it, A-M, standing at the right hand of Elohim. And crying out with a loud voice, they stopped their ears and rushed upon him with one mind, and threw him out of the city and stoned him. And the witnesses laid down their garments at the feet of a young man named Sha'ul, S-H-A'-U-L. And they were stoning Stephanos, S-T-E-P-H-A-N-O-S, as he was calling and saying, Master Yahshua, receive my spirit. And kneeling down, he cried out with a loud voice, Master, do not hold this sin against them. And having said this, he fell asleep. So he died. They executed him. Again, for talking about Yahshua. Because these Pharisees don't want to lose their position of power. Because the people followed the lawmakers. That's the only reason why the Pharisees stayed in power in the first place. But Man, just you wait. They're gonna have their punishment. Everybody who does against Torah will have their punishment. If you love YahWeh, you will keep His commands. And the Son only spoke what the Father said, which was keep my commands. If you abolish His Torah, you're not a believer. You're a fake. You're a loser. I don't want to be a loser. So I'm going to lose my life teaching the Word. I am happy with that. I'm going to lose my life telling people the truth about what's going on in this world and who's really in charge. I am against the state of Israel. I am for the people of Israel. They are not the same thing. As I am for the people of America and the people of Canada, but I am against America and I am against Canada because their governments are 100% a joke. A joke. So it's not even a laughing matter, it's just such a bad joke. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed tomorrow's daily reading. Hallelujah.